I'm Virginia Allen with the Daily Signal. I am here with the senior writer for Townhall, Julio Rosas. He has been covering the Rittenhouse trial since it began. Julio, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me outside the courthouse.
Well, I appreciate you being here and covering this. You have also just recently written a book. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's called Fiery But Mostly Peaceful, The 2020 Riots and Gaslighting of America. It's on pre-sale. Go check it out.
So, and I know, you were able to write that book because not only have you been here all week covering this trial, and even before all month covering this trial, you for years have been covering protests across America. You have covered all of the unrest that began unfolding more than 15 months ago, and that happened right here in Kenosha in August 2020. You were actually in Kenosha the night of the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting. Tell me what happened. What do you remember from that night?
I mean, it started here. I mean, we were outside the courthouse. They had a security fence that was put up because rioters had continually attacked the courthouse on a nightly basis, and so they tried to take down the fencing, and so the officers had to come out of the courthouse to come and make them stop, and so they kind of coalesced here in the park. But then once it became past curfew, the officers used armored vehicles and a police line to push them out to the street that's right behind the camera guy over there. And so they pushed them down Sheridan Road, which is one of the main roads here in town. And there were individuals who were out here protecting private property from further destruction, because, I mean, there was a lot of property damage, a lot of fires. And that's kind of where we saw the confrontations between the rioters and from the people who were just out here trying to protect property. And Kyle was among the group. He was not a militia member. I know people say it, but he was not affiliated with like the Kenosha Guard, which was kind of another separate thing. And over the course of the night, the first half of the shooting where he shot Joseph Rosenbaum because Rosenbaum was attacking him, I was up the street when that happened. My friend Richie McGinnis was right behind Rosenbaum when that happened. And
did you hear the gunshots?
Yeah. So as soon as we heard the gunshots, being the rational person that I am, I started to head towards where the shots were coming from. And many people were running south on Sheridan Road. But then I saw one guy with a rifle running north, and that was Kyle Rittenhouse. And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. And as he was kind of passing me, I started to hear people in the crowd saying, he shot somebody, get him. And so I started to record that interaction. And then that's when he was attacked from behind a few times. He tripped and fell down. And then that's when he shot the other two people because they were also actively attacking him. So I was there for that portion.
So you were close and you actually watched Kyle Rittenhouse fire those shots.
Yeah. And one thing to also keep in mind is that he wasn't the only person shooting that night. He was the only person, thankfully, in a weird sense, who actually hit someone because there were people doing drive-by shootings behind me. And so there was kind of like a rock and a hard place for a quick minute there, and it was one of the most intense situations I've ever been in with any of these riots.
So from what we are seeing right now in Kenosha at the courthouse behind us, how does the atmosphere of Kenosha compare today to what happened and the atmosphere of Kenosha 15 months ago in August 2020?
Well, it's colder. I don't know if you noticed that. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, so obviously it's gotten a lot more tense just because more people have shown up to protest, whether for or against them, than the previous 2 weeks, just because obviously now we're in the end stages of the actual trial. And, there is a hope that, there won't be any unrest, and the cold is actually kind of something that will kind of hopefully temper any more unrest. But I mean, the locals that I've talked to, they definitely just kind of want to move on from this. I mean, because Kenosha's not a big town. The shootings took literally place right down the street from us. I mean, this is just an average, Midwestern town, and they were thrust into the national spotlight last year, and now they're back in it again. And so, I feel bad for them. I really do. And these are just everyday average Americans.
What have you seen as you've been here on the ground monitoring the situation? What is the police presence like here? Have you seen Antifa members? Describe it for us.
So I did see one Antifa-looking guy yesterday, and thankfully it was just the one. But They're inside the courthouse. I can say there's been definitely an increase in sheriff's deputies, and I even saw a state police officer yesterday. Just because obviously, now we're having more people that can potentially get into fights, and we even saw some fighting yesterday. So, thankfully, nothing major has happened yet in terms of any like large scale riots. Also, interestingly enough, I haven't seen any of the businesses that are also like right down the street from us. I have not seen them board up their windows. So that's kind of a good thing in the sense that they have hope that nothing major will happen. We do know that the Wisconsin National Guard has 500 troops on standby in a neighboring county, which is about an hour and a half away. Right now we're just going to kind of wait and see on what happens next.
Well, Julio, we appreciate your reporting. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.